Hello, this is Dr. Sujita Kumari, Assistant Professor, Department of Psychology, St. Joseph's College for Women Autonomous, Vishakhapatnam. Today we are going to discuss a learned helplessness theory. Let me share with you a couple of stories that perfectly explain learned helplessness, that feeling of being stuck and powerless, even when you actually can change things. First, the classic example, the elephant tied to small stake. When elephants are young, they are tied to heavy stake with a strong rope. At that age, they try to break free but can't because they are not strong enough yet. So over time, they just stop trying. Then, even when they grow huge and strong enough to pull the stake out, they don't because they have learned they can't escape. They have accepted their helplessness. Crazy, right? Now let's look at human example. Imagine someone in a job where they constantly face failure or criticism. Over time, they start believing they are not good enough, so they stop trying to improve or look for other opportunities. Even if a better job opens up, they don't apply because they have convinced themselves it's pointless. Or think about a student who repeatedly fails math tests despite studying hard. Eventually, they might give up trying to improve because they feel I am just not a math person. This mindset is a form of learned helplessness, believing their efforts don't matter. The key takeaway, learned helplessness isn't about actual ability or chance. It's about the belief that you are powerless, and that belief can keep you stuck. But remember, just like an elephant can break free and a student can improve, we can change those beliefs and control. Learn helplessness when we stop trying. Let's talk about something that affects more people than we might realize, learned helplessness. It's a psychological state where, after facing repeated situations where nothing they do seems to make a difference, a person starts to believe they are completely powerless even when they are not. Imagine this, someone tries and fails over and over to improve their situation, maybe in a tough job, a toxic relationship, or even with their own mental health. After a while, they stop trying. Why? Because deep down, they have started to believe that nothing will help. This state of learned helplessness leads to passivity, low motivation, and heavy sense of hopelessness. It's like a mental fog that says, why bother? It won't change. This mindset can stick around even when things do change. Even when opportunities to take control show up, the person might not see them or believe they can do anything about it. This phenomena is often linked to depression. It is one of the reasons people who are struggling emotionally can feel so stuck, not because they are weak or lazy, but because they have been conditioned to expect failure or disappointment. The good news, learned helplessness isn't permanent. With the right support, therapy, and shifting in thinking, people can start to see that change is possible. So, if you are someone you care about, feels like giving up, remember, feeling powerless doesn't mean you are powerless. Help is real and healing is. This is about learned helplessness. First one was uncontrollable bad events. If you are continuously exposed to uncontrollable bad events, it leads to perceived lack of control, and finally it ends up with generalized helpless behavior. Now let's chat about something really important called learned helplessness. So what it is exactly? Well, learned helplessness happens when someone goes through repeated bad experiences or stressors that they feel they can't control or avoid. Over time, they start to believe that no matter what they do, things won't get better. Because of this, they stop trying to change their situation or protect themselves from bad outcomes. It is like their motivation just disappears. Think of this way: imagine facing challenges again and again, and every time, no matter what you do, you feel stuck or powerless. Eventually, you stop even trying to fix things because you have learned that your actions don't matter. Psychologists say that people with learned helplessness believe they lack behavioral control over what happens to them. This belief can be really damaging because it makes them feel hopelessness and less motivated to make any changes, even when there are ways to improve their situation. This is why learned helplessness is often linked to things like depression, anxiety, where people feel trapped by the circumstances. But here is a good news: recognizing learned helplessness is the first step toward overcoming it. With support and new strategies, people can regain their sense of control and start taking positive steps forward again. So remember, feeling stuck doesn't mean you are stuck. There's always a way to break. It's a famous experiment conducted by Martin. Let me tell you about a famous experiment that helps explain learned helplessness. It involved dogs and sharks. In the first phase, some dogs were placed in a situation where they could escape mild electrical shocks by simply pressing a panel with their noses. So these dogs learned, hey, I can stop this unpleasant thing by doing something. But other dogs didn't have that chance. They got shocked but couldn't do anything to stop it. Then came the second phase. All the dogs were put in a box divided by a barrier, and they could avoid the shocks by jumping over it. Here is an interesting part: the dogs that had learned to escape the shocks before quickly jumped over the barrier to avoid the pain. They were active and tried to control the situation. But the dogs had no chance to escape earlier. Most of them just sat there, didn't even try to jump, and passively accepted the shocks. They seemed to have given up, even though now they had a clear way to escape. This shows how learned helplessness works. When animals or people face uncontrollable stress repeatedly, they start to believe they have no control and stop trying even when options to improve things are available. It's a powerful reminder of how important it is to feel we have some control over what happens to us. Next one, symptoms of learned helplessness. Let's talk about some ways learned helplessness can show up in our lives. First off, one big sign is lack of motivation. When people with learned helplessness face new challenges or tough situations, they often don't even try. It's like they give up before they start. Even small obstacles can feel overwhelming, and their tolerance for setback is really low. Next, there is something called difficulty learning from success. Imagine you manage to get through a hard time or solve a problem. Great, right? Well, people stuck in learned helplessness often don't see that success as a proof they can handle things. So, even when they succeed, they don't build confidence for the future, which makes it harder to face new challenges. Finally, some people with learned helplessness experience emotional numbness. They might seem less affected by pain or stress, not because they are tough, but because they have shut down. shut down. Emotionally, they can come across as flat or unresponsive, which can be confusing for those around them. So, learned helplessness isn't just about feeling powerless, it changes how we respond, learn, and even feel inside. The good news understanding these signs is the first step to breaking out of that cycle and remaining control. Did you know that the idea of learned helplessness didn't just come from animal studies? Back in the 1970s, psychologist Martin Seligman took this concept and applied it to humans, especially to understand clinical depression. Here is the basic idea: when people face stressful situations over and over, especially ones they can't control, they can start to feel powerless. They begin to believe that no matter what they do, things won't get better. Over time, this leads to difficulty making decisions and engaging in meaningful actions. It's like their motivation just disappears. Seligman called this the learned helplessness theory of depression. It helps explain why some people get stuck in cycles of sadness and inaction, even when opportunities for change might be right in front of them. Interestingly, researchers have also found that learned helplessness shares similarities with post traumatic stress disorder. Both involve feeling trapped by past experiences and struggling to respond effectively to new challenges. So, understanding learned helplessness gives us important insights into how depression and trauma affect people and why helping someone regain a sense of control is so crucial in how to overcome learned helplessness. If you are ever felt like life is just happening to you, like you are stuck and nothing you do really matters, you are not alone. That's feeling. It's something called learned helplessness, but here is the good news: there is a way out. One of the most powerful things you can do is focus on what you can control. Let's break it down. Your attitude. You can choose how you approach a challenge. Even if it is tough, bringing a positive, can do mindset makes a big difference. It's not about fake positivity, it's about telling yourself, I will figure this out. Your effort, your control, you control how much energy you put into something. You might not control the outcome every time, but showing up and trying, that's all you. Next one is your response. Life throws curveballs. We all know that. But you get to decide now how to respond. Will you react with frustration or take a deep breath, reaccess, and keep going? Next one, your self care. Yes, that matters too. You can choose to eat well, sleep enough, take breaks, and do things that support your physical and mental health. When you feel better, you handle stress better. The more you focus on what's within your control, the more empowered you will feel. And little by little, you will start to rebuild that belief in yourself that what you do does make a difference. So take the first step, even small one counts. From happy helplessness to hope, the power of learned optimism. If you feel stuck or overwhelmed, like no matter what you do, nothing changes, you are not alone. That's a feeling rooted in something called learned helplessness. But there is a flip side, and it is incredibly empowering. You can start shifting that feeling by focusing on what you can influence. One powerful area, your relationships. Take time to nurture the people who lift you up: friends, family, mentors. When you surrounded yourself with positive, encouraging relationships, you start to feel supported, the valued, and almost importantly capable. And here is the key: when you remind yourself that you do have some control, even in small ways, you slowly chip away at that helplessness. It builds your confidence to take on bigger challenges later. Now let's introduce a game changer, learned optimism. That's a concept by psychologist Martin Seligman, the same guy who helped define learned helplessness. Learned help optimism is all about training your mind to see setbacks, temporary, specific, and changeable. From failure to strength, the power of learned hopefulness. Let's talk about something most of us try to avoid, failure. Sounds uncomfortable, right? But here is a twist. It can actually be one of the most powerful tools for growth. Psychologist Carol Dweck found that when people are encouraged to learn from failure, they become more resilient. It's all about shifting from fixed mindset where you believe your abilities are set in stone to a growth mindset where failure is just part of the learning process. Now here where it gets even more interesting. Yes, unlike learned optimism, which focuses on how we explain setbacks to ourselves, learned help hopefulness is rooted in action and experience. So the next time you face failure, pause, reflect, and ask, what can I learn from this? Then take that lesson and do something with it. Every failure is an opportunity to grow, and every empowering experience builds hope. Thank you.